Good day, everybody. We are less than a week away from the kick-off of League Two, and I found a filter. We got a filter here, blind ranking, and I'm hoping that this is going to basically be more or less what I would be choosing anyway. Crawley Town. Now, they're not fancied this year, are they? Although, I don't think they're the worst team in the division. I don't think they'll go down. Although I think they'll be part of the relegation conversation. I'm going to pop them 21st. Grimsby Town, I'm expecting them to finish in a playoff place this year. I thought they were impressive last year. Recruitment's been good by all accounts, so I'll pop them into the final playoff place there. Accrington Stanley, this could be the season for them not to go that way, but to come that way. I think I could see them finishing dead last, unfortunately. Sorry, Accrington. Milton Keynes, biggest budget in the league, spent a lot of money, brought in a lot of big players. Doesn't always work out that way. They're not going to get top three. I think they've been disappointing every season since they've been in League Two, and I think they're going to disappoint their fans again. But they will finish in a playoff place. Fleetwood. There's a little bit of money, up there, but money doesn't guarantee you success. I think a couple of people have fancied them for sort of a top 10 finish. I'm going the other way, and I think that they're going to finish in 18th. Cheltenham are going to be the other relegated team, in my opinion. Although I wouldn't like to see that, to be honest with you, because as for Newport, there's a lot of distance for us to have to travel, and we prefer having a few more local teams, but we may lose one this year going downwards. Oldham won't go down. I think if you ask an Oldham fan what realistically they'd like to see, I think they'd like to see a mid-table finish. I think 15th is befitting for them. Notts County will have a decent season. Will they finish in a playoff place? No. Will they finish in the top 10? Yes, let's go bang in the middle there and say 9th. Newport, my team, there we go. Right, so I got a lot of reasons why I believe we're going to have a much better season this year, but it's not going to be massively better. We're not looking at top half, realistically. I think the managerial setup at my club is much, much better. Everything sounds right, the work ethic, the fitness levels, some of the players that we had last season weren't disappointing individually at times, but collectively as a team they were, and I'd put that more from the top than down on the pitch. I'd say that now with more structure, we got young, hungry players, but we have got our share of experience and talent. I think we're 16th is the place that I've been saying all along that we'll finish. Tranmere were in a relegation fight last season, pulled themselves away at exactly the right time, gained themselves a bit of momentum, walloped us 4-1 at home on the last day of the season. I think they'll have a more comfortable season. I'm popping them in for 12th. Bromley, they had their first season sort of honeymoon period, should we say? As everybody does. I don't think we've had someone go straight back down from the National League. I don't think I've seen it since I've been a Newport fan and we've been in there. So, they had a reasonably good season last year on the basis of that. This year it'll be a bit tougher. But I don't think that they'll be... I think that they could be in the conversation for relegation, maybe. But I still think that they'll have a reasonable season, and 19th is befitting for them. Gillingham will have a better season. With their budget, they should be finishing in the top 7. They always seem to find a way of disappointing their supporters, so I'm going to pop them in 10th. Although, mind you, from 12th to 7th, there's only going to be a handful of points in it. Barrow, a little bit of money up there. They've had some reasonable seasons, although they've been on a bit of a decline. I think the decline will continue. But how bad would it be for them? I don't think it'll be detrimental. Obviously, I've picked my 2 relegated teams already. 20th? As far as I might be quite happy with that. Colchester now. A lot of people are tipping them for playoffs. I just don't know. I don't know. Having Danny Cowley is going to be big for them, but do they have the right team? I suppose we'll soon find out. Are they a playoff team? Danny Cowley's a winner. I'd pop them into 6th. I think they'll get their playoffs. Bristol Rovers. Relegations, they always bounce back. Always seem to bounce back. So every time I've seen Bristol Rovers, first season I saw Bristol Rovers, they went down. They came straight back up. They then went up. They went down. Straight back up. They'd come down again. Straight back up. 2nd place. Kills me to say it though. Harrogate, be a bit more of a struggle for them this year. I've earmarked them for 22nd. So this is going quite well so far. I'm quite pleased with this. There's a lot of good stuff being said on the airwaves about Crewe's recruitment. But I don't know, I just think there's going to be too many strong teams in the division this year. I'm popping them in 11th. Cambridge United. Everybody's saying that they're going to be great this year. I always find Cambridge a relatively average team until they did put together a promotion team and they held their own in League One for quite some time. They weren't great last season. They got themselves relegated. I don't think they're going to have, in their opinion, a fantastic season. But I think that, they're not going to go through the trapdoor. I don't think anybody's going through the trapdoor this year. So the fall from League One sometimes has a team falling straight down into non-league. I don't think that's going to happen at all. Although the teams coming down aren't as strong as I've seen in the past. I think Cambridge 13th is about fair. Salford. I think money hasn't quite worked out for them. They got a decent manager. They still got Carl Robinson now, haven't they? I do think Carl Robinson's a decent manager, and I'm not sure if he's still there or not now. I don't know. Something's telling me he might not be. That might just be my brain not functioning correctly today. I'd say a fair finish then would be 14th. Although I do feel as though there's some smaller teams I haven't picked out yet that should be a bit lower down. But Shrewsbury came down quite dramatically. A lot of people are tipping them to finish down the bottom end, some even for relegation again. Obviously, as I mentioned, the League One trapdoor can happen. Does happen. It won't happen this season. But I think Shrewsbury could be the worst off of all of them. So 17th. So I'm actually quite pleased with all of this. Walsall looked like they were going to run away with the league and eventually lost in the playoffs. I think they won't hit playoffs again, although they'll get close. 8th. And we got Swindon Town. Swindon are due a good season. Swindon are big enough to have a good season. So I could quite happily see them finishing in the playoff place, although Milton Keynes will probably win the playoffs. Chesterfield, yeah, they really impressed me in the games that we played against them last year. They absolutely dominated us in both games. They have got a bit of money there. They would have added well. They'd have finished the season quite well to a point that some of their players may not have wanted to leave. 3rd place, which leaves Barnet. Oh, shit. Okay, right. So Barnet are not going to win the league. What I would say is if you push everybody up one, and then Barnet will go in. So Barnet, I've got to put them in first, but to be honest with you, I think, obviously Bromley can't play twice. I think if you look at where Tranmere are, put Barnet there and push everybody else up one, and I am absolutely delighted with that choice. I think that's about right. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Look forward to it.